My dear brothers and sisters, many people spend years building respect, but only a few seconds destroying it simply because they could not control their tongue. A single careless sentence can damage relationships, break trust, and create regret that lasts for years. Many problems in life do not begin with actions. They begin with words spoken without thinking. Islam teaches us that the tongue is small, but its impact is powerful. It can bring peace or create pain. It can raise your status or lower your dignity. The one who learns to control their tongue learns to control their character, their relationships, and their future. Today, let us reflect on 5 powerful lessons that will help you speak with wisdom, protect your respect, and bring peace into your life. 1. Not every thought deserves to be spoken. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest signs of wisdom is the ability to control what we say, even when we feel the urge to speak. Every human being experiences countless thoughts throughout the day. Some thoughts are good, some are neutral, and some are emotional reactions to situations around us. However, maturity and self-control begin when we understand that not every thought deserves to be spoken. Many people feel uncomfortable with silence. They feel the need to fill every moment with words. In gatherings, they want to comment on every topic. In disagreements, they feel they must respond immediately. On social media, they feel they must express every opinion. But speaking all the time does not make a person wise. In fact, speaking without thinking often weakens the value of our words and reduces the respect others have for us. Words are powerful. Words can heal hearts, but words can also break hearts. Words can build relationships, but careless words can destroy trust that took years to create. Many people have experienced moments when they spoke quickly in anger or frustration and later wished they could take those words back. But once words leave the tongue, they cannot be returned. Apologies may repair some damage, but some wounds created by words remain in the hearts of people for a long time. A wise person understands that silence is not empty. Silence is a space where we think carefully before speaking. Silence allows us to choose words that bring benefit instead of harm. Silence prevents unnecessary conflict. Many arguments begin because someone felt the need to respond instantly instead of pausing to think. Before speaking, train yourself to ask 3 simple questions. Is what I am about to say true? Is what I am about to say necessary? Is what I am about to say beneficial? If the words are true but not necessary, silence may still be better. If the words are necessary but not beneficial, wisdom teaches us to find a better way to express them. Speech should improve situations, not worsen them. Not every opinion needs to be shared. Not every mistake needs to be pointed out immediately. Not every situation requires your reaction. Sometimes people speak just to prove they are right. But being right is not always more important than maintaining peace. Sometimes remaining silent protects relationships and protects your own dignity. When you learn to control your tongue, you begin to control your emotions. When you control your emotions, you begin to control your life. People start seeing you as calm, thoughtful, and trustworthy. Your words begin to carry more weight because people know you do not speak carelessly. Controlling your tongue does not mean you never speak. It means you speak with purpose. It means your words are thoughtful, measured, and beneficial. It means you avoid useless arguments, harmful gossip, and unnecessary criticism. It means you choose silence when silence is better for your peace and for the peace of others. A believer understands that every word has consequences, both in this life and in the hereafter. Speaking less but speaking wisely protects you from regret, protects your relationships, and protects your character. Remember, wisdom is not shown by how much you say, but by knowing when to remain silent. Sometimes the most powerful statement is silence itself. Too much talk reduces your value. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the realities of human nature is that people value what is rare. When something is easily available all the time, it slowly loses its importance. The same principle applies to speech. When a person speaks continuously, shares every thought, and comments on every situation, their words begin to lose their weight. People stop listening carefully because nothing feels special or meaningful anymore. A person who talks excessively often believes that speaking more will make them more noticeable, more respected, or more important. But in reality, the opposite happens. When someone speaks all the time, people begin to overlook their words. Conversations become noise rather than meaningful communication. Even when that person finally says something valuable, people may not pay attention because they are already used to hearing constant speech from them. Wisdom teaches us that speech should be balanced. Speaking less does not mean you lack confidence. Speaking less often shows that you have control over your thoughts and emotions. It shows maturity. It shows that you understand the importance of choosing the right words at the right time. People naturally respect individuals who do not feel the need to prove themselves through constant talking. A calm person who listens more than they speak often appears more confident and more thoughtful. Their presence feels peaceful. Their words feel important. When they speak, people pay attention because they know that this person does not speak unnecessarily. Excessive talking can also lead to unnecessary mistakes. The more a person speaks, the greater the chance of saying something inappropriate, hurtful, or regretful. Sometimes people reveal personal matters that should have remained private. Sometimes they share opinions without full understanding. Sometimes they unintentionally hurt others simply because they did not pause to think before speaking. Silence, on the other hand, protects your dignity. Silence protects your privacy. Silence gives you time to observe, understand, and respond wisely. When you listen more, you learn more. You understand people better. You become aware of situations more clearly. This awareness helps you make better decisions in life. Talking too much can also reduce the impact of your message. Imagine a person who constantly gives advice, constantly explains, constantly shares opinions. Over time, people may stop taking their advice seriously because the words become too frequent. But when a person speaks only when necessary, their advice carries weight. Their words feel meaningful because they are not overused. Islam encourages believers to speak words that bring benefit and avoid speech that is unnecessary or harmful. Speaking less allows you to avoid gossip, avoid arguments, and avoid statements that may damage relationships. It helps you maintain inner peace because you are not constantly involved in every discussion or every disagreement. Sometimes people speak too much because they feel uncomfortable with silence. They feel that silence makes them appear weak or unimportant. But in reality, silence often shows strength. Silence shows that you do not need constant attention. Silence shows that you are secure within yourself. Silence shows emotional independence. When you begin to speak less, you will notice something powerful. People will start listening more carefully when you speak. Your words will carry more respect. Your presence will feel more confident. Others will see you as someone who speaks with purpose rather than someone who speaks out of habit. Speaking less also helps you avoid unnecessary conflicts. Many arguments begin because people speak without thinking. A simple disagreement becomes a serious problem because too many words are exchanged in moments of emotion. But when a person practices restraint, many conflicts end before they even begin. Choosing silence in certain situations does not mean you have nothing to say. It means you are wise enough to understand that not everything needs to be said. Some things are better left unsaid because peace is more valuable than winning every conversation. When you control the amount you speak, you increase the value of your words. People respect those who are calm, thoughtful, and balanced in their speech. People trust those who do not reveal everything unnecessarily. People admire those who speak with clarity and purpose. Remember, your value is not measured by how much you speak, but by the quality of what you say. When your words are few but meaningful, they leave a lasting impression. When your speech is controlled, your character appears strong. Learn to become comfortable with silence. Learn to listen more. Learn to observe more. Learn to speak only when your words add value. Because sometimes, the less you say, the more powerful you become. 3. Controlling your tongue prevents regret. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest sources of regret in life is not always the actions we took, but the words we spoke without thinking. Many people can remember moments when they wish they had remained silent, moments when emotions became strong, patience became weak, and the tongue moved faster than wisdom. A few seconds of uncontrolled speech can create years of regret. Human beings are emotional. We experience anger, frustration, jealousy, sadness, and disappointment. These emotions are natural, but what we do during these emotional moments defines our character. When anger rises, the tongue often becomes sharp. Words come out quickly, sometimes louder, sometimes harsher than intended. In those moments, a person may feel justified in speaking strongly, but later, when the emotions calm down, the reality of the damage becomes clear. Many relationships have been broken because of words spoken in anger. Friendships have ended, families have been divided, and trust has been destroyed because someone could not control what they said in a moment of emotion. The pain caused by physical harm may heal with time, but the pain caused by hurtful words often remains in the heart for many years. Controlling your tongue during emotional moments is one of the greatest signs of strength. Anyone can speak when they feel angry. Anyone can respond immediately when they feel hurt. But only a wise person can pause, reflect, and choose silence when silence is needed. This pause may only last a few seconds, but it can prevent years of regret. Often, people say things they do not truly mean simply because they were overwhelmed by emotion. Words such as insults, accusations, or harsh criticisms can leave deep emotional scars. Even if apologies are later given, the memory of those words can remain in the heart. Trust becomes weaker, and the relationship may never return to the same level of comfort as before. Islam teaches patience, especially when emotions are strong. The ability to remain calm when angry is not a weakness, it is a powerful form of self-control. When a person controls their tongue in moments of anger, they protect not only others but also themselves. They protect their character, their dignity, and their peace of mind. Regret is a heavy feeling. It keeps the mind busy with thoughts of the past. A person replays the moment again and again, wishing they had chosen different words or remained silent. They wish they had paused, wished they had been more patient, wished they had not allowed temporary emotion to create permanent consequences. Sometimes a single sentence can change the direction of a relationship. One careless comment can reduce respect. One moment of harsh speech can damage years of trust. This is why controlling the tongue is not a small matter. It is a serious responsibility. Silence during emotional moments allows wisdom to return. When you pause, your mind begins to calm down. Your perspective becomes clearer. You begin to see the situation differently. What felt urgent a few seconds ago may no longer feel necessary to say. What felt like a strong reaction may now feel like an unnecessary conflict. Not every situation requires an immediate response. Sometimes the best response is delay. Giving yourself time to think allows you to respond in a better way. Many conflicts become smaller when words are delayed. Many arguments end when one person chooses silence instead of reaction. Controlling your tongue also prevents you from revealing weaknesses to those who may not have good intentions. When people speak emotionally, they often reveal personal feelings, insecurities, or frustrations that later make them feel exposed. Silence protects your privacy and keeps your dignity intact. Wise people understand that winning an argument is not always a real victory. If winning the argument damages the relationship, the victory becomes a loss. If proving yourself right hurts someone deeply, the benefit becomes very small compared to the harm created. Sometimes peace is more valuable than being right. Sometimes protecting a relationship is more important than expressing every thought. Sometimes silence brings solutions faster than arguments. A believer understands that words are recorded and remembered. Every sentence has weight. Every statement leaves an effect. This awareness encourages careful speech. It encourages patience. It encourages thinking before speaking. When you learn to control your tongue, you reduce the number of situations you later regret. You reduce unnecessary conflict. You protect your relationships from avoidable harm. You protect your reputation from damage caused by careless speech. People begin to trust those who speak carefully. They feel safe around someone who does not speak harshly or react impulsively. They respect individuals who remain calm during difficult moments. This respect is built not only by what a person says, but by what they choose not to say. Silence during emotional moments does not mean weakness. It means maturity. It means wisdom. It means strength. It means you value long-term peace more than temporary emotional satisfaction. Every time you choose silence over harmful speech, you protect yourself from future regret. Every time you pause before responding, you give wisdom the opportunity to guide your words. Every time you control your tongue, you build a stronger character. Remember, a few seconds of patience can prevent years of regret. Words spoken in anger may satisfy the ego for a moment, but they often create pain that lasts much longer. Choose patience over reaction. Choose wisdom over impulse. Choose silence when silence is better. Because the one who controls their tongue controls many problems before they even begin. 4. Silence is a sign of inner strength. My dear brothers and sisters, many people believe that strength is shown through loud speech, strong arguments, and constant expression. They think that the person who speaks the most is the one who has the most confidence. They think that the person who responds quickly to every situation is the one who has the most power. But true strength is not always loud. True strength is often quiet, calm, and controlled. Silence is not a sign of weakness. Silence is often a sign of deep inner strength. It shows that a person has control over their emotions, control over their reactions, and control over their ego. When a person is able to remain calm in situations where others lose patience, it shows maturity, it shows stability, it shows wisdom. Inner strength means that you are not easily shaken by the opinions of others. It means that you are not desperate to prove yourself in every conversation. It means that you are comfortable with who you are and you do not feel the need to constantly defend your value. A person who knows their worth does not feel pressure to explain themselves to everyone. Many arguments happen not because the topic is important, but because the ego wants to win. People feel uncomfortable when someone disagrees with them. They feel the need to respond quickly, sometimes without thinking carefully. But when a person has inner strength, they do not feel threatened by every disagreement. They understand that not every opinion requires their response. Silence allows you to observe more deeply. When you speak less, you notice more. You begin to understand people's intentions, emotions, and behaviors more clearly. You begin to recognize situations that deserve your attention and situations that do not deserve your energy. This awareness protects your peace and helps you make better decisions. A person who reacts to everything becomes emotionally tired. They carry unnecessary stress because they involve themselves in every discussion and every conflict. But a person who practices silence chooses carefully where to invest their emotional energy. They protect their peace by avoiding unnecessary arguments and meaningless conversations. Silence also prevents you from lowering your dignity. Sometimes people may speak in a disrespectful way, hoping to provoke a reaction. They may expect anger, argument, or emotional response. But when you respond with silence, you show that your peace is more important than winning a moment of argument. You show that you are not easily controlled by the behavior of others. Inner strength is the ability to remain calm even when situations are difficult. It is the ability to remain respectful even when others are disrespectful. It is the ability to remain patient even when others are impatient. This type of strength is rare, but it leaves a powerful impression on those around you. People often remember the calm person more than the loud person. Calmness creates trust. Calmness creates comfort. Calmness shows stability. When a person speaks only when necessary, their words feel meaningful and their presence feels peaceful. Silence also protects you from saying something you may later regret. Many conflicts grow because both sides continue speaking without pausing. Words become stronger, emotions become stronger, and the situation becomes more difficult to resolve. But when one person chooses silence, the situation often becomes calmer. Silence gives space for emotions to settle and understanding to grow. Some people fear silence because they think silence makes them appear weak. But in reality, silence requires courage. It requires patience. It requires self-control. It requires confidence in your own value. When you are secure within yourself, you do not need constant validation from others. A person with inner strength does not need to prove their intelligence in every conversation. They do not need to correct every mistake they hear. They do not need to respond to every negative comment. They understand that their value does not decrease just because they remain silent. Silence can also be a form of wisdom. Sometimes words cannot solve a situation. Sometimes silence communicates understanding better than speech. Sometimes silence prevents a small issue from becoming a large problem. When you practice silence, you create space for reflection. Reflection helps you understand your own thoughts and emotions better. It helps you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This thoughtful response strengthens your relationships and strengthens your character. Inner strength also means that you are not controlled by the need for attention. Many people speak excessively because they want recognition or approval. They feel uncomfortable when they are not noticed. But a strong person does not depend on constant attention. They remain confident even when they are quiet. Silence shows independence. It shows that you are not influenced by pressure to always participate in every discussion. It shows that you are disciplined enough to hold your words when speaking is unnecessary. A calm and silent person often earns respect without asking for it. Others begin to see them as thoughtful and wise. They appear trustworthy because they do not speak carelessly. People feel safe sharing their thoughts with someone who listens more than they speak. Silence also protects your emotional well-being. When you are not involved in every argument, your mind feels lighter. When you are not constantly reacting to others, your heart feels calmer. This calmness allows you to focus on what truly matters in life. Strong people do not waste their energy trying to prove themselves to everyone. They invest their energy in improving themselves, strengthening their character, and building meaningful relationships. They understand that peace is more valuable than unnecessary debate. Silence is powerful because it shows discipline. Discipline is the ability to control yourself even when emotions are strong. Discipline helps you avoid harmful speech and unnecessary conflict. Discipline strengthens your reputation as someone who is balanced and wise. Remember that inner strength is not always visible through loud words or strong reactions. Often, inner strength is visible through calmness, patience, and thoughtful silence. When you learn to practice silence, you develop emotional control. When you develop emotional control, you develop confidence. When you develop confidence, you no longer feel the need to react to everything around you. Your silence can protect your dignity. Your silence can protect your peace. Your silence can protect your relationships. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Sometimes silence shows more strength than argument. Sometimes silence shows more confidence than explanation. True strength is not in speaking more. True strength is in knowing when silence is better. When you master silence, you master yourself. 5. Controlling your tongue protects your hereafter. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most important reminders in Islam is that every action we perform and every word we speak is recorded. Nothing is insignificant in the sight of Allah. Many people are very careful about their physical actions, but they are not careful about their speech. They think words are small, temporary, and easily forgotten. But Islam teaches us that words carry great weight, and the tongue can either raise a person's status or lead them toward regret. On the day of judgment, a person may remember their prayers, charity, and good deeds, but they may forget how many times they hurt others with their words. They may forget how many times they spoke carelessly, spread negativity, or caused pain to someone's heart. Yet every word is recorded with complete justice. This reminder should make us more aware of the responsibility that comes with speech. The tongue is small in size, but its impact is very large. A single sentence can bring comfort to someone who is struggling. A kind word can heal a heart that is broken. A gentle statement can restore hope to someone who feels lost. In the same way, one harsh sentence can deeply hurt someone, reduce trust, and create distance between hearts. A wise believer understands that speech is not only communication with people, it is also part of accountability before Allah. Words should reflect kindness, honesty, patience, and humility. When speech contains goodness, it becomes a source of reward. But when speech contains harm, disrespect, gossip, or arrogance, it becomes a burden on the person who spoke it. Controlling the tongue protects a person from falling into common mistakes such as backbiting, insulting, lying, or spreading unnecessary negativity. These actions may seem small at the moment, but their consequences can be serious. Sometimes people speak about others without thinking carefully, forgetting that dignity is important for every human being. Sometimes people speak in a way that damages someone's honor or reputation. Such speech not only harms others but also harms the speaker's own character. Islam encourages believers to speak words that benefit others. Good speech includes words that bring peace, encourage kindness, promote understanding, and strengthen relationships. Even a small positive statement can make a difference in someone's day. Speaking with respect shows good character and reflects inner discipline. Silence can also be an act of wisdom when speech does not bring benefit. If words may create unnecessary conflict or spread negativity, silence becomes the better choice. Silence prevents a person from entering arguments that do not bring any goodness. Silence protects the heart from hardness and protects the mind from regret. Sometimes people speak excessively because they do not consider the long-term consequences of their words. They focus only on the present moment without thinking about how their speech may affect others later. But a believer thinks carefully before speaking because they know that every word has value and every statement has an effect. Controlling the tongue also strengthens self-discipline. Self-discipline is important in every part of life. A person who learns to control their speech develops patience, maturity, and emotional stability. This discipline improves relationships, increases trust, and creates a peaceful environment. Words can either create harmony or create conflict. Words can either build understanding or create misunderstanding. Words can either increase respect or reduce dignity. Because of this, wise people treat speech as a responsibility rather than a habit. Sometimes silence protects a person from saying something incorrect or harmful. Sometimes silence protects a person from becoming involved in matters that do not concern them. Sometimes silence allows a person to observe carefully and respond wisely when the right time comes. A believer understands that success is not only measured by worldly achievements but also by the condition of the heart and the quality of character. Good character includes speaking with kindness, avoiding harmful speech, and choosing silence when speech is unnecessary. Controlling the tongue also helps maintain sincerity. When a person speaks less, they are less likely to exaggerate, less likely to argue unnecessarily, and less likely to become involved in prideful conversation. Their speech becomes more thoughtful and more meaningful. Every word should reflect awareness that Allah hears everything. Speaking with honesty and kindness strengthens the heart and increases inner peace. A person who speaks carefully feels more content because they avoid unnecessary conflict and avoid hurting others. When people feel safe from your words, they feel comfortable around you, they trust you more, they respect you more, they see you as someone who brings peace rather than tension. This respect is a result of good character and careful speech. Choosing beneficial speech or choosing silence when necessary brings positive results both in this life and in the hereafter. A person who protects their tongue protects their dignity, their relationships, and their peace of mind. It is important to remember that controlling the tongue is not about remaining silent at all times. It is about speaking when speech brings benefit and remaining silent when speech may cause harm. Balanced speech reflects wisdom and maturity. The believer aims to speak words that bring goodness, encouragement, and positivity. Even simple words of kindness can have a lasting effect. A respectful tone can change the outcome of a conversation. A calm response can prevent a conflict from growing. Controlling the tongue helps purify the heart from negative habits such as anger, arrogance, or jealousy. When the heart becomes calm, speech also becomes calm. When speech becomes calm, relationships become stronger. Success in the hereafter is connected to good character, and good character includes responsible speech. Speaking with kindness and avoiding harmful words increases respect and brings peace to both the speaker and the listener. Before speaking, remind yourself that words are a trust. Use this trust wisely. Choose speech that benefits others. Avoid speech that harms others. Choose silence when silence is better. When a person becomes careful about their speech, they begin to notice positive changes in their life. Relationships improve, misunderstandings reduce, and inner peace increases. The heart feels lighter because it is not carrying the burden of regret caused by careless words. Controlling the tongue is a lifelong practice. It requires awareness, patience, and sincerity. But the reward of this effort is great. A person who controls their tongue protects their character, strengthens their relationships, and prepares for success in the hereafter. May Allah grant us the ability to speak words that bring goodness, to remain silent when silence is better, and to develop character that reflects wisdom, patience, and sincerity. Because sometimes the greatest protection for the hereafter begins with controlling what we say today. My dear brothers and sisters, a wise person is not known by how much they speak, but by how wisely they speak. The tongue is a small part of the body, yet it can create some of the biggest consequences in our lives. A few careless words can break hearts, damage trust, and create regret that remains for years. But controlled speech can protect relationships, strengthen character, and bring peace to the heart. When you learn to control your tongue, you protect your dignity, you protect your reputation, you protect your peace of mind. You also protect yourself from unnecessary conflicts that only bring stress and distance between people. Speaking less does not reduce your importance. Speaking wisely increases your value. Silence often shows maturity, patience, and confidence. It shows that you are not controlled by emotions, and it shows that you choose peace over argument. Strong believers do not feel the need to respond to everything. They do not feel the need to prove themselves to everyone. They choose their words carefully because they understand that every word has an impact. Make it a habit to pause before speaking. Make it a habit to choose words that bring benefit. Make it a habit to remain silent when silence is better, because sometimes silence protects you from regret, protects your relationships, and protects your future. May Allah grant us wisdom in our speech, patience in our emotions, and the ability to control our tongue even in difficult moments. May our words always bring goodness, understanding, and peace. If this reminder touched your heart, share it with someone who may need this message today. And always remember, sometimes the most powerful words are the words we choose not to say.